here's more wrestling news for July 12, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include Malakai Black weighs in on WWE non-compete clauses, believes there is a middle ground. 2 possible endings to Roman Reigns vs. Edge at Money in the Bank 2021 being discussed by WWE. Cody Rhodes mocked as Anthony Ogogo asks who wore Facemask better. Benoit once tore up a former world champion's 12-page match script and left the arena. We're starting with AEW's Malakai Black, who debuted on this week's Dynamite, attacking Arn Anderson and Cody Rhodes. Given that Black was released from WWE on June 2nd, fans were surprised to see him join AEW just 35 days after his release. And that's because of a clerical error from WWE, which meant he had a 30-day non-compete clause instead of the main roster's standard 90 days. Recently, Joe Biden has spoken out against those clauses, and when a fan asked Black on Twitch about the president's comments, the former NXT champion had this to say. "There is a middle ground. From a business point of view, I understand having a non-compete. As a person who works on TV, I understand that they want separation between you going from one place to another. I get that. Do I think it needs to be 3 months? No. That's the standard contract. Obviously, with me, you guys know what happened. Something definitely needs to change, and maybe there needs to be better prior notice. One of the things that I don't think is completely accurate is, hey, today we decided to do that and we'll follow up on it. I think you need a little more notice, but it's a different process. The WWE is not a normal company. They kind of make the rules themselves. That's where I think Joe Biden is trying to make the change, where they have all the pros and you have all the cons. I understand the need for change on multiple levels, and I also understand that there needs to be a middle ground and that there needs to be spacing in between. They still pay you when you're no longer working for them for the duration of your non-compete." Buddy Murphy, who WWE released at the same time as Black, recently revealed that WWE called him in a panic after his departure, fearing he had a 30-day clause too, but that isn't the case. On the stream, Black also praised his wife Zelina Vega, who he married in 2018, saying, "A big part of my rehabilitation, let's call it that, is my wife. She was one of the people that for the first time in my life when I met her, I just met someone who was just in such a different wave of energy than I've ever been used to. There was no pressure, there was no awkwardness, there was no you have to or you should be. There was no trying to change me, trying to make me something I wasn't, and that was a big shocker for me because now I'm like, okay, I'm happy, and this can't be good. I'm sure she'll me over at some point." Vega, who was fired last September, returned to WWE this month and will be a part of the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and we're sure the pair will be rooting for each other despite being in opposite companies. This Sunday's Money in the Bank pay-per-view will also see Edge face Universal Champion Roman Reigns in a match the Tribal Chief is expected to win. The question now is, how will WWE have Reigns win? And it may be a different Shield member who makes the difference. For months, it's been reported that Seth Rollins vs. Edge is the plan for SummerSlam, and during SmackDown, the tension between the two was highlighted in a backstage segment. With that in mind, one idea reportedly being considered is for Rollins to cost Edge the title match this Sunday, only after the Rated R superstar has dispatched of both Jimmy and Jey Uso. That would inevitably lead to their SummerSlam match, and with both men being excellent performers both in the ring and on the mic, we expect nothing short of an exceptional match on August 21st. Rollins vs. Edge isn't the only huge SummerSlam match in the works, as Reigns is also rumored to defend his Universal title next month against the returning John Cena. Both men have served as the face of WWE during different times, and whilst we've seen them face off before, we'd love to see it again. Last wrestling each other in 2017 when both men were babyfaces, Reigns is now WWE's best heel, and Cena is arguably the best face WWE has ever produced. That's why another idea being considered for this Sunday is for Cena to confront Reigns post-match, and it's reported that this, like the Rollins-Edge angle, is waiting for approval by Vince McMahon. Cena's last match in WWE was the Firefly Funhouse match at WrestleMania 36, and his last in-ring match was on the January 14, 2019 Raw. And with the 16-time world champion's latest film, Fast and Furious 9, already in cinemas, a return to WWE could be as soon as this Sunday's event. AEW news now, and recently Anthony Ogogo had to get facial surgery to repair his nose in what's been an ongoing issue for the professional boxer. Now Ogogo is wearing a protective face mask, but he's not the only AEW wrestler to have worn a mask like that. On Twitter, Ogogo asked fans who wore the mask better and posted a photo of himself alongside Cody Rhodes, who wore a similar mask in WWE in 2011. Referring to Rhodes as a piss boy, Ogogo clearly hasn't forgotten about their feud, which saw Rhodes win against the Governor at Double or Nothing 2021. After that show, Ogogo returned to the UK, where he remains to this day, but he'll be back on AEW television as soon as his nose heals up. Last week, we reported that Tammy Sytch, aka Sunny, is back on OnlyFans after spending the last year behind bars. Before her arrest, Sytch was making a killing on OnlyFans, racking in over $100,000 in just 6 weeks, and had over 2,000 fans paying $30 a month just to see her exclusive content. Now back on the platform, Sytch is looking to make serious money again, and on Twitter said that she's looking for guys and girls to co-star in her photos and videos. At this time, her tweet has got 89 replies, with some people trolling, including one fan who wrote that they're wondering if Hogan would be willing to drop his, third leg. Other replies from people were legitimate applications, but the former Sunny hasn't replied to any applicants yet. A free woman once more, Sytch is looking to get back to making serious money on OnlyFans and is willing to share the screen with some of her fans. And we're ending with Diamond Dallas Page, who infamously scripted his matches in great detail, writing out exactly what moves would be hit when. Although Page's cautious style did lead to a highly successful career in the ring, it wasn't to everyone's taste, and that includes Chris Benoit. This week, Kurt Angle discussed the pair of former world champions on his podcast and revealed a time when Benoit lost it in WCW with the future Hall of Famer. Benoit told me a story where DDP scripted a match where it was 12 pages long, type, and Chris was like, you know what, screw this. He tore it up and left the arena, and DDP was looking for him to go over the match, and he couldn't find Chris anywhere. Benoit didn't appear until 5 minutes before the match, and Angle said it was a rib by the Canadian who had to carry Page through their match. Angle's story just goes to show how Benoit's technical skills in the ring were unmatched, as he was able to work with someone who had no script to go off after years of planning matches in advance. Nowadays, Benoit's name is rarely mentioned due to the final days of his life, but stories like these show just how good he was in the ring. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.